What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 186 of the Rise to Glory here with Gibraltar Apex, and today is the UEFA Super Cup against Tottenham Hotspur. This is going to be a kind of a little bit of a different game, really, because usually I'd still be way in pre-season at this point. But, of course, with us being in the UEFA Super Cup, it means that we are back a little bit sooner than usual, perhaps for the first commentary of the club season. As you can see, it's the 10th of August. Mosca's still a doubt with his torn ankle ligaments, but with the exception of that, we've had a relatively injury-free pre-season, which has been quite nice. In terms of transfers, stuff's very much still in progress, but just to show you kind of the deals that we've done thus far, here they are. We've made two signings. One you already knew about, that was world record transfer fee Henry Lowell for £120 million. This guy, he comes into the side, he becomes our vice-captain almost immediately, and I think he's just going to be a fantastic leader for this side. Obviously, 20 determination, 15 leadership, outstanding mentals really for a player who's 25, and I'm really excited kind of to see how he gets on over the next few years. The other signing we've made, a goalkeeper, and I know people are going to be like screaming to the heavens praising me and everything, because it's been a long time coming really. The player I've got in here, Ronald Burkhardt of Borussia Dortmund, brought in for £33 million, which was actually a release clause, which I was really surprised about. I didn't realise he had a release clause. He is a player who I had seen before, and really, as you can see here, just an outstanding goalkeeper. You can see the dark blue highlights, really key attributes for a goalkeeper. You know, 18 aerial reach, command of area, communications all very good. Decent handling and kicking, good reflexes, positioning's outstanding, agility's really solid. And, well, he's got some good mentals with his anticipation, decisions and determination and concentration all being really high. So a very good goalkeeper. Delighted that we've got him in. His star ratings perhaps don't do him justice. I feel like they may well rise depending on obviously as my assistant, as my other coaches get used to him. But you can see professional individual, deals with crosses really well, and yeah, he's just a very good goalkeeper who is the successor to Ludwig Young, who at 34, has decided that he wanted to play first-team football, and I let him move, I let him go. I didn't really want to be honest. I wanted to keep him at the side, but he initially had an offer from Real Madrid, and I rejected that, and he kicked up a fuss saying he wanted to go, and they never came back in for him. So he's actually ended up at Young Boys, who are, of course, a Swiss team. You can see here, he is their key player. They're playing in the Europa League. I mean, I can only really show this 34-year-old guy some respect because he's been at the club for, well, 15 years. I would have loved to have kept him at the club till the end of time, but realistically, that just wasn't possible. But he's given us a number of years of service, a player who, like, I don't think will ever be replaced in kind of Gibraltar Apex's best 11 as the goalkeeper just because of how long his stint was in the side. And yeah, he will be missed. Anyway, a few other sales going on. We ended up selling the Mech for £11.5 million, a player who we brought in last year to reach our homegrown player quota for the Champions League. With a lot of our young players now having spent 3 years at the side, we didn't really need him anymore for the homegrown reasons, and he didn't play a lot last year. And I got an £11.5 million bid for Napoli, which for a player who only played 5 games last year in the league is quite a good deal. We make some profit off his sale, which, to be honest, I wasn't necessarily expecting. But yeah, that deal has been completed. The 25-year-old had a second spell of the Apex. It just didn't work out for him in the end, and unfortunately he is moving on. Another player, similar boat, Andres Mora. Again, just didn't play a lot last year, wanted to play football. I've got so many talented young centre mids. Mora was really a short-term solution to a problem that I already have covered long-term. We've let him go for £4.2 million. It's a bit of a loss, but I can deal with that. You know, my life will go on. We're kind of in the fortuitous position, I guess, with our club finances that kind of sale doesn't hurt me too badly. Anyway, the next two sales, a pair of players going off to Liverpool. The first one here, Mancini, the Italian winger, a player who is a great player. We signed him for £5.25 million, and he did make 18 league appearances over 2 years. But he just never played enough, and we had an offer from Liverpool. We made some money off his sale, decided to let him go. And another player who went to Liverpool as well, our opposite winger actually, Noel Rico, £6.5 million for him. A good fee to receive because we only paid £2.4 million for him a few years ago from Sevilla. And he moves on. Again, it's a deal that it's more out of the case of these players. They want to play first team football. I've got talented young players coming up in the wide areas. It's not an area of the pitch that I'm particularly worried about, and I'm happy to let those players go. Speaking of players in the wide area, one more sale, Denneboom. He has gone to Manchester 62, the Dutchman. We sold him for £7.5 million, which for a player who never really made any appearances for us, I don't think it's too shabby. I'm quite hopeful that this guy might take up Gibraltarian nationality. I did loan him out to Sheffield United a few years ago, which reset his eligibility, so he has still got 4 years left to serve, obviously playing for Gibraltar and in Gibraltar if he wants that to come through. But he's a good little winger, but he was never going to play first-team football for us. I feel like £7.5 million is a very nice fee to receive. Anyway, as you can see here, a lot of loans as well going to other Gibraltar sides. A lot of these are quite small deals, but there are a few that are perhaps worth mentioning. One that's definitely worth mentioning is Javi here, the 19-year-old Spanish goalkeeper, going to Lincoln Redham. He's going to be playing regular first-team football. As you can see, they have been playing in the Europa League, which he has been starting in, which is really, really good for him because he's a good goalkeeper. And as you can see here, they actually beat Sparta 6-0 on aggregate in their opening kind of qualifying game there. Kept 2 clean sheets, so I'm really happy for him. I'm hoping that that loan is really going to serve him well this year. Anyway, a few other players perhaps worth talking about. Rick van Dijk, out on loan at College Europa. I think he's going to be used as a bit of a backup for them, but he's definitely going to get more first-team football at them than he ever would have at us. The 20-year-old Dutch player, very good player. The kind of player who I'd like to see take up Gibraltarian nationality. As you can see, 2.5 years into his spell here. I'm hoping that he'll stick around for the rest of it. And we'll look at a few other players. Arredondo, rather, the Mexican, 19 years old, goes on loan to College Europa. Going to get lots of first-team football there. That's always good. Worth noting, actually, College Europa have had a very good start to their kind of qualifying campaign in the Champions League. They won 3-2 against Olympiacos at home after a 0-0 away draw. Now they are 1 game away from the group stage. That would be really good if they could reach the group stage with us. That is something that has not been done for, I believe, 6 seasons when it was done by Gibraltar Lions, who, of course, this year don't have any continental football. Be a bit awkward if they weren't playing any Gibraltar football matches, wouldn't it? But anyway, last few sales just real quick to go through. I'm sure we'll recap some of these next episode. Mohamed Marquez, the 21-year-old, goes to Lynx FC for £5 million. Lynx, a good side, recently promoted, I believe. Are they recently? They're not. What am I talking about? They've been in the league forever. I knew that. They've been a team, though, who have never really taken the plunge. They've never really taken that step to reinvest. You can see a number of years in a row they finished 9th, they finished 8th, but they've always won in the playoffs and just kind of scraped by. But really, since 2023-24, so some 15 years ago, they've never finished higher than 6th. They've always been a bottom half team. So hopefully this signing is kind of a sign of ambitions from them, although I feel like £5 million could have been better spent elsewhere. Anyway, 2 sets more sales real quick. Gonzalez has gone to Borussia Mönchengladbach, a player we brought in to be a bit of a backup in the wing-back positions. I decided to let him go. He wanted to play first-team football. And just quickly looking at our side, we have, of course, Villalba, who we signed last year in January, who can play either side. And we also have Richard Atkinson, who can play either side as well. The 19-year-old English player was out on loan for the last 2 seasons at College Europa, got lots of first-team football there in the Primera Division, which was good for him. He has developed off the back of that. And we do also have Junior, the left-back, a very, very good left-back. Perhaps a little bit limited in his play. Not amazing going forward, but defensively and physically just an outstanding player. And hopefully he can kind of continue to develop. And certainly Atkinson and Junior, players I want to get first-team football this year. And Gonzalez really was just hogging up a spot in the full-back position in our squad. Anyway, just one more loan real quick. Edson has gone to Manchester 62. A talented Brazilian is Edson, 19 years old. Joined us a few years ago now. Last year spent it on loan at College Europa. Played 8 games, scored 6 goals this year. Going to Manchester 62. Hopefully he can kind of continue to develop his play there. So anyway, those are some of the transfer dealings and stuff going on. Of course, we go into this Spurs game with only 2 new additions to the squad, really. So looking at the team, it's nothing too revolutionary. Burkhardt will be making his first ever starting goal, which is pretty exciting for him. The German 26-year-old, £33 million paid, a degree of expectation, I guess, on him. And Lowell, I mean, this guy, I don't know what expectations you put on a £120 million player who's taken up the captain's armband for his debut. I'm hoping he can give a great performance. He's an outstanding player. You can see looking at him, just such a good centre mid. Going to be playing a box-to-box midfielder role for us. With the exception of his balance, very well kind of adapted to play that box-to-box role. He's just so well-rounded in so many different areas. That I think it's going to serve him really well. Obviously, great work rate, great strength, great stamina as well. Not going to have any problems getting up and down the pitch. A world-class midfielder, and let's hope that we see a world-class performance from him today. Elsewhere in the team, Cabasele at left-back, a player who had a few discipline problems last year. Hopefully he can be a little bit better behaved this year. Gaikanov at right back, we thought of a little bit of interest for him. 29 years old now, definitely getting on a little bit. And as you can see, he's actually going to be turning 30 tomorrow. Interesting. So we have that. 30 years old, that suddenly seems really old to me. I feel like as soon as a player hits 30, I consider them old. The scary thing is I'm approaching 30 now, and I don't want to consider myself old. Anyway, Jorge Assad at centre-back, 26 years old, very, very good defender, even if he's a little bit limited in his play. Alongside him we have, of course, Ramadan Mustafa, 29 years old, again, another player who's going to be 30 this year. Obviously spent a long, long time at the club since joining from Egypt. I can't remember which scout it was that found him, but thank you for finding him. I think he was already in the national team at 18, which made my decision to sign him a little bit easier, but he has really developed into an absolute powerhouse for us as the Egyptian centre-back. Anyway, in the centre defensive mid-role, we go in Mini Mosca, a player who's a little bit underappreciated, I feel like. He's a very good player, very good with the ball at his feet. He's got some decent tackling and decent marking, and his defensive game is very, very strong, and the real issue for him is he's just so well-rounded. Although he doesn't look that great, he really is a really solid kind of centre mid. You kind of look at his physicals, so many at 15, and there are a lot of technicals elsewhere at 15, and if they were yellow, I feel like he suddenly looks like a significantly better player, but at 25, I don't expect to see too much in the way of development, but you can see regularly playing for the Spanish national side, so that's going to be interesting. Anyway, right centre mid we go with Wolski, 26 years old, outstanding playmaker, the Polish player. Hopefully he can give a performance for us today. A centre attacking mid we go with Glenn Andre. Mosca is currently still out injured, as I mentioned right at the start. He's actually back fully fit in 2 days, but as a result I've moved Gerard up into the kind of attacker role. Glenn Andre going to play in behind. Of course, you can see here 5 caps, 2 goals. He actually won the World Cup Young Player of the Year, so a little bit of pressure perhaps on Glenn Andre to really step up. Then up top for today's game we go with Duz and Gerard, 2 absolute monsters, 2 players who have done absolutely outstandingly, and hopefully they can just give good performances for us today. Just want to quickly recap the World Cup. I mentioned the fact that Glenn Andre won Young Player of the Tournament. Just a final look at the tournament, because all of this stuff will refresh fairly soon, so it might not be around next episode. You can see here, Graffite got the highest average rating, and he got 4 assists. He actually won Player of the Tournament, which is hilarious. But regardless, I mean, 4 assists from left-back, can't really complain about that. Of course, a core component of our team going forward. You can see the eventual winners were actually Portugal of the World Cup. They beat England 2-1. Israel lost 2-0 to Mexico in the 3rd, 4th place playoff, and you can see England knocked out Israel 2-0. Of course, Israel, the team who knocked us out last episode. If we just look at the award winners real quick, I mentioned the best player being Graffite. The best goalkeeper went to Luis Lopez of the winning side at Portugal. Best young player went to Glenn Andre, who got 2 goals and 2 assists in 3 games. I believe France got knocked out in the group stage, or did they get knocked out in the knockout stages? I think they got knocked out in the knockout stages now I think about it. But anyway, it's kind of... It doesn't really matter. Anyway, Dream Team, this is where things get interesting. Anibal Perez, Graffite, and Salas. Where are you, Salas? I saw your name mentioned about being on the bench. Oh, he's right at the bottom. There you go. So he actually had both of our fullbacks in the team of the tournament and Anibal Perez, which is absolutely mad to see 3 Gibraltar national team players in there. You can see England, who got to the final, only had 3 players. Girard got in there as well. He got 4 goals in 5 games. And no, all in all, it was a pretty good tournament for us, which we really can't complain about too much. And hopefully, obviously, going forward now, we can continue to build up some momentum off that World Cup with the national side. So anyway, let's get into this game against Tottenham. Just looking at Tottenham real quick, of course, a team who are reasonably big in real-world football. You can see they've had a bit of a turbulent time of late. They've kind of returned to the Tottenham of old, a team that constantly finished kind of 5th to 7th. Last year they finished 4th. In fact, no, last year they finished 8th, but the year before that they finished 4th. And, well, they won the Europa League last year, so they have a Champions League spot this year. And, of course, they have the honour of playing us in our opening game of the season, which is going to be at the Pepsi... Where's the Pepsi Arena? In Poland. It's an actual stadium. I've never heard of the Pepsi Arena. I'd have guessed that it was created for the European Championships. I'm sure I'm going to have Polish viewers now let me know. But no, let's get into this game. Team is fairly good. Kabasali lacking a little bit of match fitness, but not really a concern. Lowell and Burkhardt making their debuts. Bit of pressure on them. I feel like we should highlight Lowell at all opportunities. He's £120 million worth of player. And I expect a return off that kind of investment, I guess you could say. But I'm confident he's going to give it to us, the Nigerian. Actually, a player missed out on the World Cup because Nigeria didn't qualify. As a result, it might make for interesting viewing to see how much fitter he is at the start of the season, perhaps, compared to some of our players who were at the World Cup. Players like Girard, Duz, who else we got? Glenn Andre, Mosca. I gave them all long rests at the start of the season. I said, go away for a week, don't get involved in training. And they've recovered very, very well off the back of that. Anyway, let's change back to 2D. I don't like this 3D stuff. That is left over, of course, from the last episode against Israel, where things took a dramatic turn at the end. Either way, we're actually the team on the attack here. Gaiganov, disappointing ball to Lowell. We'll highlight him. Number 12. They're on the attack. Gonzalez, not like this. Burkhardt, has he just made a blunder on his debut? I mean, my scouts loved him. I loved the look of him. I'm hoping that isn't a sign of things to come with Burkhardt, because Ludwig Young, for all the errors he did make, I always felt like he came good in the 1v1s. Gonzalez smashes out, and Burkhardt sticks out a hand, doesn't get his body behind it, and, it finds its way into the back of the net. Not the start to the game we wanted. Let's also get up our match stats right here. We're on the attack. Gaiganov, can he whip in a ball? He can. Lowell, back post, hits the woodwork. What a debut that could have been for him. Looking at the stats, Tottenham are all over us. They're playing this narrow 4-3-3, which is a weird formation that a lot of teams seem to have been playing against us, irrespective of how we approach the game. Biro with a chance there for Tottenham. Oh, I was about to make a tactical change, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens here. They're coming forward with the ball. Hawkins spreads it out wide. Hamouti shoots. It's another error. What is Burkhardt doing? I miss Ludwig. I just feel sad inside, really. Hamouti cuts inside, shoots. Shouldn't get beaten at the near post, but it is a shot from point blank range. Let's change the system. Let's just mix it all up right here, right now. We're going to play Volsky as a deep line playmaker. Lowell is going to play as a winger. Duz is going to play out on the right. Glenn Andre behind Sebastian Girard. 4-3. No, I can't even count. 4-2-3-1. Not 4-3-1-2. We're going wide. We're going to try and change this game if we can. They're coming forward with the ball again. Cabasele wins that. Lowell now playing in that wide. What a sad. Don't screw up there, please. Let's not concede a third. Duz, can he make something magical happen? He can't there. And, Spurs coming forward with the ball again. Part of me feels like I should be changing to the 5 at the back Gibraltar tactic. I might well do. This is embarrassing. It's 3-0. 2 goalkeeping errors perhaps. But it doesn't really matter, does it? It's still unacceptable. Right. So here's what we're going to do. We're switching to 5 at the back. So I've been accused of playing negatively in the past. I feel like you probably have a right to call me negative now. Right, we're going to go with that. Kabasele, Gaiganov, Mustafa, Assad, Juan, Lowell, Mini Mosca, Volsky. Let's change Lowell to a centre mid on attack. For some reason, I've not got the latest version of this tactic saved, which is a little bit odd. Right, that's what we're going with. It's probably too late now. That's the issue. We can play on the counter all we want against 3 centre mids and 3 strikers, but we're already 3 goals down. We have to make a comeback. Show me something else, please, boys. In the second half, we need an improved performance. Part of me wants to push these guys up, like so. I might do that as well. I might play them and then play complete wing-backs on support. That's what we'll do. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. I don't know if I want to change stuff. We'll see how this pans out. Lowell whips it in. If we score immediately, then excellent. But I do feel like we need to try and make this slightly more respectable if we can in the second half here, because Spurs have just annihilated us. We had a slow start last season, if you can remember. We lost the Pepe Reyes Cup. We lost to Stuttgart 2-0. We need to try and bounce back, and we are going to try and make something happen here. Volsky and Gaiganov, nice 1-2, pulls it back. Duz has got to bury that. He doesn't. It's a squandered opportunity. Looking at the stats, significantly closer now, but I've got to change the system again because we need goals and they're not coming. I think we're going to play Lowell as a shadow striker on attack, see what he can do there. In terms of instructions, we need to look for the overlap, play wider. Let's try and stretch them wide. Yeah, let's see what we can do here. We've got to really go for this game. I think at this point, I'm going to play Mini Moscow, I think, as a ball-winning midfielder, and then play Volsky on deep line playmaker defend. Do I want to change anything else? I don't really like the shadow striker role. I'm going to play Loal as a centre attacking mid. That's what we're going to go with. We need 3 goals in 30 minutes. It seems unlikely, but stranger things have happened. We've really got into this game after such a slow start. You know, the second half's been a much improved performance. The system changes definitely worked in terms of just solidifying our defence, I guess, with 3 centre-backs. But we need end product suddenly. Gerard, Deuce, can you bury that? He can't. He's missed 2 clear-cut chances for us. And I mean, you look at the chances column. How is this 3-0? It's one of those games where just Tottenham have been clinical. They've perhaps had the better of the clear-cut chances. But the chances that they've taken. We could be 3-2 down at this point, looking for that third. Unfortunately, Du's not brought his shooting boots today. I would normally bring Mosca on for this kind of game, but he's struggling with fitness. Giroud, I mean, what a goal that is. It's a chance. It's an incredible goal. Can we just marvel at this? Giroud out wide on the left. Knocks it past one man, beats him, just slots it in. The keeper shouldn't be beating it the near post, but regardless, it's just such a nice little finish there by him. Let's make a change. Pause the game. Duz has had an awful game. Let's bring in Vincinius, and I'm going to make one more change. Mini Mosca's played okay. I'm going to take off Volsky, and I'm going to bring in Dominicella, who of course scored for us in the Champions League final. Actually got the goal that proved to be the winner, which was the third goal, of course, in that 4-2 win against Benfica. I'm hoping that, well, he can have a similar impact today, because this has been awful. I mean, look at the stats. We've grown into this game. We've probably been the better team. But unfortunately, when you concede 3 goals in the first half, it's always a challenge to then get back into the game, and ultimately we have ourselves to blame. Tottenham, extremely clinical, extremely punishing. Fair play to them. We have a lot of room for improvement going forward. Of course, we are going to have the Club World Cup, but it's not the way you want to start the season losing the UEFA Super Cup, is it? Noel made his debut. It was an okay debut, nothing to stand out. We're giving a little bit of money, but it's not consolation, is it? It's nothing. £2.14 million. I wanted to win the first bit of silverware of the year, albeit in a bit of a Mickey Mouse trophy in the Super Cup. But no, we have the Club World Cup to look forward to. Obviously, the Champions League group stage draw yet to be made. We've also got the Pepe Reyes Cup, which is going to be against College Europa 2. Whether or not I do that as the opening game of the season will largely depend on who we get in the Champions League groups, I think. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let me know what you make of Burkhardt and Lawal in goal. I'm hoping for Burkhardt that first performance is merely a blip, and he's going to be able to come back stronger. We've invested a lot of money in him. I'm going to stick by him. And we have, of course, got Veronese, who's a pretty talented goalkeeper, ready in the wings to capitalise on any openings that come available in the first team anyway. So yeah, guys, that is all from me. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do smash the like button. If you've got any comments, as I already said, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.